Okay, so for today's class, we're gonna go over Liquidos's video and kind of review what happened today. Quality 2K. Okay, so what time is this? Is this right off the open? Yeah, so this is right before the open. Um, so let's give it some time to clean out a little bit. So 6:32. Okay, so looking at it right off the bat, right? It's small. Um, Gex, de-adjusted, Fauna. Okay, speed. There is no net for this one. That is unlucky. But I want to say right here would probably likely be the Gex flip because these are all greater than it, right? And then this starts getting bigger, bigger, bigger. So Gex flip is right around here. So this is 5034. So right around 5030 and then 5025, there's Gex flip, right? Can you guys understand what I mean by that? Just looking at it, right? Why? Because it's just the two added together. So with that being said, this is definitely Gex flip right here at 5025. So it would look something like this on the chart, right? You have this, and then smaller ones, and then you have this right here. So this would be 5030, and this would be 5025, right? So going into this and understanding that, okay, we know where Gex flip is, and this is what? This is Gex week, right? Where Vana and Charmer and its windows of weakness. So then understanding that, once again, is there a huge need to pay close attention to the two? No, right? So obviously Gex is going to be at its strongest, meaning the what? The impacts will be what? More prominent, correct? Okay. So when we got to that Gex flip, we opened right at it, right? So what is the concept? Yeah, maybe we can gap fill, but highly unlikely. Why? Because if you look at all the interest, where does it lie? All the interest lies at 5040 and 5045. Almost nothing. You have it both on de-adjusted and raw, right? So take that into account. There's no interest below us. What are the odds that we go lower, especially on this week right after OPEX? It makes little to no sense to go much lower. And on top of that, we talked about it on multiple occasions where at least I was talking about it. When it comes to looking at, I guess, a bigger picture, right? I am all about looking for at a weekly time frame in the sense of okay, every single pullback, right? So this was a moment in which everyone was kind of struggling, like, oh, are we going to start dumping, right? So I'm a huge advocate for price signatures in the market, right? When we started our bull run, the market moved in about every 3 weeks on each bull run. We would have the next following week, right? If or sorry, let me clear the thought really quick. After a huge bull run, market would pull back, give or take 3 weeks, right here. 3 weeks, 6%, right? Before having a run up for the next 2 weeks, right? And then guess what? Drawing down lower, right? So you already heard me say in chat, um, in the sense of paying close attention. Okay, I do think we get a pullback, and we've had 3 weeks of running down. Guess what? Look at that. Another 6%. We've had a pullback of 6% in 3 weeks, right? I have a feeling we're going to bounce this week and bounce next week before getting another potential lower leg down. This to me is a load of BS right here in the sense of, okay, I don't think this is an initial start of a bull run. I think when we finally break the trend, oh, actually, this is the initial start, right? Change in overall market structure down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, right here. No lower low, but we made a higher high, right? So that's just something to consider. And then we finally started coming back up. And then once again, it started right here, right? 3 weeks of a downtrend into a light push up, and then 3 more weeks of downtrend. So I do think this pattern in price signature may have an opportunity to repeat again. And on top of that, this week, having little to no interest below us when we're moving down, right, is a huge sign that we are going to continue to push up, right? So one big thing I want to look for within reviewing all of this, more specifically, excuse me, is when did it change from 50/40 as the AOI, as the ABS-D GEX to 50/75, right? And on top of that, for I shot the link in Zach's Discord. So for those people that were there, you heard me on live say, okay, I don't think we get past 50/75 today in terms of and the more specific reason is because there was no interest above us, right? When there's no interest above us, that is a huge indication as um relative chop, or we may not go higher. And with no interest also below us, it made it a little bit more difficult to kind of say, oh, I think we're going to sell off hard. No, that was not the case, right? We had 50/75 for the day, and it was there pretty much the rest of the day. So let's keep watching this video. Look for a potential change in the data, right? So 50/40 is still obviously very prominent, right? I want to look for that 50/75, this one right here, to see if we potentially start picking up and when that time is. So there's the PMI candle already. It's on a 5 minute perfect. Hold on. Before we continue, let's go to a 5 minute on SPX. I want to see if we had held. Okay. Another big indication as general price action goes, especially during this week of Gamma being the strongest, right? When it comes to getting above certain levels, right? If you've been trading for a long time, price action wise, these wicks are important, right? You get a close above 40, right? And then you finally get a close above 45 on set retest candle, right? When you get a close above and then you get another retest of the same zone or the same area or the same ABS-DX, if we start using that as support, that is a potential indication to go higher, right? So I want to see a potential pickup. So what time is this actually? Right around 7:25. So I want to see what the chart looked like around 7:25. What is the indication that we go higher? So currently UTC 7, it is in LA time. So once that kicks into around 7:20 area, I want to see what the data looks like. 7:12, still no pickup. 7:22. 7:25, I think, was when we get a big spike. Yeah, there it goes. We start kind of running away. And for those, we are in a positive gamma environment, right? Mean reversion, tail side is much higher, right? For those who always pay attention to that, this is how you would draw it. So we're bound to go up, revert back to the mean, and the mean is definitely higher given that this tail side is much longer, right? So just another thing to point out. So we're currently at 50/60. Start pushing up again, 50/63. So as you can tell, 75 never really showed its hand until very, very late, pretty much until we got there. Right, so keep seeing this. I want to see when it picks up. What time did that happen? I'll go back a little bit. Okay, so right around here, you can see this difference, right? Look, if I go back and forth, back, forward, we go from, you can see right here. This is the one we're paying attention to. See, start picking up, and look how much bigger it grows. And then we finally outgrow it later on, right? We have outgrown pretty much the same as 50/45, which was the AOI at the time. And where is price sitting at? Price is sitting at 70 already. So with that being said, when you see something like that, it's a little bit hard to be like, oh, I'm going to jump in a trade right now, right? especially when D-adjusted is going to show absolutely nothing above 75 the rest of the day, right? So if we continue to watch this play out, when you see, okay, here we go, right here. Hold on, let me get it paused. Okay, right here. There is not much interest above us still, right? We're right here. We're sitting at the AOI or we're sitting at the ABS DGEX, and there's still nothing picking up above us. Once again, pure indication as to a low probability that we will go higher, right? And then the next close thing to pay attention to is when afterwards hitting that level, when did everything disappear? Right here. We go from this, right? This is 1051 and then 1059. So in less than 10 minutes, all of that shit at 5040 and 5045 has completely disappeared, right? Once again, indicating that we will not go above it or go back to 5040, right? Until I see that level pick up again on the data, I have no reason to think we're going to go back to 5040, right? And when I mean pick up, I mean I want to see 5075 disappear and I want to see 5040 pick up. If 5040 picks up and 5075 disappears, the odds that we return back to 5040 are very, very high, right? Right here. This is maybe where you could have gotten baited for a quick split second during power hour, and then it literally disappeared in less than 2 minutes, right? So just things to take into consideration. So at this point, you're seeing the data right here, right? This is pretty much it. You have 5065 as the biggest. And with that being said, 5065 is right here. So we have no reason to think anything else of the market. And we're 30 minutes at close, right? Till close. So just things to it's always important to watch how the data changes and being able to sort of backplay it in your own head. Because if when the data changes, that's when you can potentially get some form of change in structure in the market or maybe a downturn back to the lower ABS DXX, right? But the odds that the most important thing is you want to see where you currently are or where you currently above kind of disappear, right? We always talk about seeing a level disappear. We want to see pretend this is what it looks like, right? You want to see the current level that you're at, right? Current shrink lower, right? You want to basically see it shrink all the way lower and it look like this, half of it pretty much. And then from there, you can make an inference that, okay, maybe we start going back down lower and then this one starts picking up, right? It goes from halfway and it starts picking up like this, right? Guys, if you're in the trade already and you're hoping, you're already doing this something wrong, right? So Knox, this isn't to like throw shade or give you shit. This is just me being completely honest in the sense of, okay, if you're in the trade and you're hoping for it to go your way and you don't have evident enough data, number one, of when you entered, number two, when you're in the trade, if you see said data disappear, you have no reason to be in it anymore, right? You can close the position, whether it's for a light loss, a loss, it makes sense. Unless you're size for zero, then it's fine, right? But just keep that in mind. Let's see. Anything else play out EOD? Yeah, stuck right at 5070 right here. We have 5 minutes left to close. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it for today specifically. Yeah, we were also in a positive environment, so I can see why you think potentially an end of day rug. Yeah, no problem. One other important aspect of this is like when you're taking shit, I lost my train of thought. Okay, sorry. You know that you have big earnings this coming week, right? In my opinion, the odds that you get a big move before big earnings day, right? Something like Tesla today, for example, where you get a huge end of day rug, the odds are very slim. So going into tomorrow, same thing. I would not be playing end of day personally. I normally don't, and it gives me even more reason not to play end of day. Why? Because we have, I believe, Microsoft and Meta. So I think market may end up being pinned for that. So if you look at, let me go to tomorrow's data. So it's relatively mixed for now. 50/50 is on board. 50/90 is also on board. 50/75 will be some form of resistance. So going into tomorrow, we'll see what happens at, 5 to 15 levels. Any relevant SMT today? Let me take a look. I don't remember seeing anything. Maybe on a longer time frame. Let's see. See if we can spot anything. Where is the open? $7:35. Okay. See if we can spot anything. 6:56. What time is this? Right at the open. Boom. Boom. So right at the open, you have your indication of SMT, right? So this is the 631 candle. This is 631 candle, right? ES swept the low, NQ didn't sweep the low. And then let's see if there's anything else later in the day that gave some sort of indication that we would pop up. None of this looks did. Okay, you have here,
What?
right?
Maybe. Yeah.
This is very, very like
How you
low
doing? Okay.
probability though that you're gonna see that until later. I'm trying not to trade the first hour until data drops down its forms. Yeah, I usually think like 30 minutes is pretty solid. It's 15 to 30 minutes is okay. Um, I would treat a 15, like if you're trading 15 to 30 minutes, me personally, I'm treating that as a scalp. If you're in ODTE, why? Because IV is still going to be hiked up the wazoo. So it doesn't make sense to take that trade, right? Um, or hold that trade for a long period of time. Any more SMT? Let's see. Kind of swept all of this earlier. This is just choppy bullshit. Right here. Right. The odds that you catch these little ones are very, very slim unless you're really watching it super closely. Anything here? Okay, there's one here. Would have been a hard catch. Also would have ended up being a scalp, but it did end up hitting PT or PT1. Would have been right here. 7:58. Is that AM or PST? Oh yeah, right here. Good catch. So it's just very small ones, right? Wait, where'd it go? Yeah, right here. Very small SMTs. Anything right here? I mean, maybe you can consider this one if you really wanted to, but once again, really shitty catch. Nothing of significance in terms of the move itself. That's really it in terms of end of day. Once again, I'm not a huge fan of equal lows or levels being equal. But yeah, that's pretty much it for end of day. Um, so you have today was very tough in terms of like the amount of SMT that happened. They're all very small instances, right? You had one, two, three, four, five. None of them except the first two. Maybe this one, the third one, netted a pretty decent move. But yeah, very small instances of SMT today that did not represent a very good move. So questions. If there are no questions, we will end the class. Keep it short and sweet. I think it was a good market review of this of being able to watch the data live. Thank you once again to Liquidos for doing that. I agree with you that the opening is too erotic. Too erotic. Whoa, chill. Erratic. And wait for things to calm down. Yeah, I think that's always the best choice. Even if you had missed the move in the morning, that was I personally caught that one. I had the 50-50 calls. I got them at 420, hit a trim at 10, and then left only two runners. Wish I had left more, but only left two runners for 20. Really wish I left more. But you don't always get the ones that you want. Overall, today price action was very, very fucking mid, like at best. If you missed the morning run up, even the morning run up was choppy as hell. Yeah, we had data drop at 6:45 today. It was PMI. Yeah, PMI crushed shorts today. I still think we don't get that move down the rest of the week. Maybe we get a potential pullback on Thursday and Friday, and maybe that'll be the start, but I think we close the week overall green. Oh, we have PC this Friday. Okay. We have no more questions. I'm gonna end the recording here. All right.